Could someone like you be stopped? Could you be helped?
No, I was dead set on going with this compulsion. It was the only thing that gave me any satisfaction.
If you were out on the street now, would you still be committing the crimes?
Probably. If this hadn't happened, there's no doubt I probably would be. I can't think of anything that would have stopped me.
Hey guys, my name is Yoru, and welcome back to another case study with me. Before we get into today's video, I want to give you a quick content warning. There are mentions of family fights, heavy discussions, and graphic details that some viewers may find triggering. If you're someone who has experienced similar situations at home, or if you just don't feel comfortable listening to someone else's household conflict, feel free to skip this one and watch something lighter. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Alright, I'm sure you already know who today's video is about. So let's learn more about the case surrounding one of the most disturbing serial killers in American history, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee. His family was small: his mother Joyce, his father Lionel, and his younger brother David. From childhood, Dahmer knew his parents' relationship wasn't stable. They fought constantly, and some of these fights became violent. Lionel was a chemistry student and researcher, which meant he spent long hours away from home. His absence made the family feel neglected, especially Joyce. She already struggled with her mental health. Before Jeffrey was born, she often hallucinated and took a lot of pills for anxiety and depression, something Lionel strongly disliked. He believed the medications could harm the baby and thought she exaggerated her symptoms for attention. But in reality, Joyce was addicted to tranquilizers and even took morphine injections regularly, which damaged her mental state even more.
Remember from the book, your wife had a difficult pregnancy with Jeff, right?
Very difficult, yes. She would spasm, her jaw would go sideways, and we would walk her around and around. My mother and father would do the same.
He was firstborn?
Yes. Nothing seemed to help until we would have to call a doctor and administer barbiturates.
Even with all the fighting, both parents hoped that having Jeffrey would bring them closer. But nothing changed. When Jeffrey was a child, he was diagnosed with a double hernia in his scrotum. Lionel insisted on getting surgery done early to avoid future complications, while Joyce believed the pain would be unbearable for a child that young. After many arguments, the surgery was completed. It was successful, but Jeffrey wasn't the same afterwards. Maybe due to the pain or the medication, but his behavior changed. Jeffrey grew up isolated. He couldn't make friends, he was bullied, and he seemed odd to people around him. While his parents fought constantly, Jeffrey became more and more reserved. He spent most of his time collecting insects, keeping them in jars and boxes, and storing them in his dad's garage. When Lionel noticed Jeffrey's fascination with animals, he tried bonding with him. One day, while driving together, Jeffrey noticed a dead raccoon on the road. Lionel picked it up because his son seemed excited. Since he had access to dissecting tools from his research work, Lionel dissected the raccoon in front of Jeffrey, explaining its organs and anatomy. This moment sparked something darker in Jeffrey. Over time, he started dissecting animals by himself in the backyard, causing horrible smells. Lionel, trying to guide him, taught him how to bleach bones and dissolve flesh, not realizing how dangerous it was to teach this to a 7-year-old boy. As Jeffrey grew older, things got worse. At 14, he began drinking heavily. Teachers saw him as quiet, nerdy, and polite, unaware that he sometimes came to class drunk. Around this time, Jeffrey also realized he was attracted to men. That wasn't the issue, but what disturbed him was the fact that he fantasized about dead bodies and the animals he had dissected. His urges escalated to the point where he considered attacking a jogger he found attractive. One day, Jeffrey even waited with a baseball bat, but the jogger didn't pass by. Back at home, Joyce and Lionel's marriage fell apart. Even counseling didn't help, and they eventually divorced. The divorce hit Jeffrey hard. Joyce got custody of both sons but took only David, leaving Jeffrey alone in the house at 18. With no parents around and violent fantasies building up, Jeffrey drank even more and started smoking marijuana. his addiction grew and his mental state deteriorated. June 18, 1978. Jeffrey met a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks who was headed to a concert. Jeffrey offered him a ride and invited him home. After drinking together, Stephen said he wanted to leave, which triggered Jeffrey. He struck Stephen with a 10 kilograms dumbbell, injuring but not killing him. Jeffrey then strangled him. He later admitted that he felt confused, but soon after killing Stephen, he became sexually aroused. Jeffrey had sex with the body, dismembered it, crushed the bones, scattered the ashes, and dissolved the flesh in acid before flushing it.
I always knew that it was wrong, but after the first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance.
Stephen Hicks became Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim, but far from the last. Lionel soon sent Jeffrey to Ohio State University, hoping education would stabilize him. But Jeffrey's drinking got him kicked out within 6 months. So Lionel sent him to the Army, where Jeffrey trained as a medical specialist. During training, he learned about drugs and sedatives, which he used on fellow soldiers, assaulting 2 men. He was eventually discharged due to alcohol abuse. March 24, 1981. Jeffrey returned to the U.S. but avoided home, scared of his father's anger. He moved to Miami and worked in a butcher shop, but his drinking got him fired again. Eventually, he returned to Lionel and his new wife. Fed up, Lionel sent him to live with his grandmother. At first, things seemed better. Jeffrey helped around the house and got a job, but the peace didn't last. Jeffrey was arrested for exposing himself in front of children and women in a park. He excused it by saying he was just peeing. By 1984 to 85, Jeffrey felt lonely and started approaching strangers after drinking. When that failed, he turned to gay bars and bathhouses. He drugged men in bathhouses and assaulted them while unconscious. When one of his victims died, he even attempted to dig up the body from a graveyard, but was caught by a watchman. When bathhouses banned him, Jeffrey began renting hotel rooms. September 15, 1987. He met 24-year-old Stephen Twomey, drugged him, and woke up the next morning to find Stephen dead with bruises. Jeffrey panicked but bought a suitcase, took Stephen's body to his grandmother's basement, and dismembered him. He preserved Stephen's skull because he found him attractive and wanted to keep him close. This reignited Jeffrey's violent urges. He continued killing, including James Dockstader and Richard Guerrero. His grandmother grew suspicious. The smell from the basement, the constant male visitors.
This man came up to me, he said, "Are you having trouble?" So I explained to him I had some trouble with my car. He said, "But I live close by. If you want, we can just go to my house, pick up my car and come back and then we'll get you going." He introduced himself as Jeff. The first thing he did when we went in there is he took out a bottle of alcohol and he said, "Do you want a drink?" I got a little upset and I said, I already told you I'm here to get my car and that's it. So he said, "Okay, I understand, but I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee." So I said, "Okay." I was drinking the coffee kind of quickly and I finished it. I said, "Okay, let's go." And he said, "Well, just a minute." He was staring at me in a way that was scary. It was almost like he was waiting for something to happen. And I got really dizzy and I just went forward. And the last thing I saw was the floor and his shoes.
Until finally she forced him to move out. Jeffrey rented an apartment on North 25th Street. After just 2 weeks, he assaulted 13-year-old Kay-sun, who escaped and reported him. Jeffrey was arrested. While out on bail before sentencing, he met and killed Anthony Sears, keeping his head as well. In 1989, he was given 1 year in jail and 5 years probation. After serving time, he moved into apartment 213, where most of his horrific crimes took place. He killed Raymond Smith, Edward Smith, Ernest Miller, whose heart he ate, and David Thomas, a father, which gave Jeffrey guilt but didn't stop him. By 1991, Jeffrey was killing rapidly. Curtis, Errol, Anthony Hughes, 14-year-old Conorak, whose brother he had assaulted 3 years earlier, Matt Turner, Jeremiah, on whom he attempted the zombie experiment, Oliver Lacey, and Joseph Braidhoft. Only one victim escaped, Conorak, but the police ignored neighbors because they were black. Jeffrey convinced the officers that Conorak was his drunk boyfriend, and police escorted the boy back into Jeffrey's apartment, where he died soon after. Jeffrey continued until he met Tracy Edwards in a bar. After drugging him, Tracy woke up handcuffed in Jeffrey's bedroom, surrounded by a horrible smell and loud TV noise. Tracy managed to stay calm, talked to Jeffrey, and waited for the right moment. When Jeffrey rested his head on his shoulder, Tracy punched him and escaped, running 6 blocks before finding police.
Listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point. I hit him and I ran.
Officers searched Jeffrey's apartment and discovered Polaroids, tools, skulls, preserved organs, and a container filled with acid.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons, and eventually I did turn to cannibal.
Jeffrey tried attacking an officer but was caught. He simply said, "There are 17 dead people." He then gave a 60-hour confession, revealing every detail. His family tried to argue mental instability, but Jeffrey admitted everything himself. The media turned him into a dark sensation, overshadowing the victims.
My name is Rita Isbell, and I'm the oldest sister of Errol Lindsay. Whatever your name is, say, I'm mad. This is how you act when you are out of control. I don't want to ever see my mother have to go through this again. Never, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I hate you, mother. I hate you. This is out of control. Don't me, Jeffrey. I kill you. And look at me, mother. I can kill you.
Punch him, Rita.
I can kill you. You don't have to.
He received 16 life sentences. In prison, he acted calm, claimed to find religion, and got baptized. 1 week later, November 28, 1994, an inmate named Jesse Anderson killed him, saying God sent him to do it. And that ended the case of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Do you remember when you learned that your father murdered Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes. It was about 10, I saw it on TV, and that's how I found out, so.
Do you remember the first time that you heard the name Jeffrey Dahmer?
Heard it a lot growing up, that's all I heard. When I was young, I didn't know what it meant, obviously, but, you know, that name, you know, it's been around me for my whole life, so.
Anyway, I hope you learned something while spending your time here with me. Make sure you subscribe, please take care of yourself, keep your loved ones close, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.